The moment happened so fast that no one had time to prepare for it. What was supposed to be a relaxed live appearance suddenly shifted in tone, and viewers could feel it before they understood it. There was no raised voice, no confrontation, no dramatic build-up. Just one unexpected sentence that landed with a weight no one anticipated. As the cameras rolled, Caitriona Balfe spoke calmly, almost gently, addressing a subject that had hovered around them for years without ever being touched directly. Her words weren't provocative or emotional on the surface. In fact, they sounded respectful, even appreciative. Yet something about what she said cut straight through the atmosphere of control that usually surrounded these appearances. Sitting beside her, Sam Heughan reacted instantly, though he clearly hadn't expected to. His posture changed, his expression tightened, and the practiced composure he was known for began to slip. It was the kind of reaction that can't be rehearsed, the kind that happens when a truth surfaces before the mind has time to block it. The audience sensed it immediately, even before the tears appeared. The setting made the moment even more shocking. This wasn't a tense interview or a probing question-and-answer segment. It was meant to be safe territory, familiar ground where both actors had navigated countless times before. Fans watching live expected charm, laughter, and carefully chosen anecdotes, not emotional exposure. Caitriona's comment wasn't about romance or rumors. Instead, she spoke about endurance, about carrying responsibility, about showing up again and again without complaint. She referred to the unseen weight of long years, of expectations placed on one person to hold everything together. The words were framed as admiration, but they carried an intimacy that went far deeper. For Sam, that intimacy proved overwhelming. His attempt to smile through the moment faltered, and his eyes filled before he could redirect the conversation. He looked down briefly, as if trying to regain control, but the emotion had already reached the surface. Live television leaves no room for retreat, and the cameras captured everything. The room fell into an unmistakable silence. No one rushed to interrupt or change the subject. Caitriona noticed immediately that something had shifted, but she didn't pull her words back. Instead, she paused, allowing the moment to exist rather than trying to erase it. That pause only intensified the impact. What viewers were witnessing wasn't embarrassment or weakness. It was recognition. Caitriona hadn't revealed a secret or made an accusation. She had acknowledged something deeply personal that Sam had never articulated publicly. Coming from her, the acknowledgement carried a different power than it ever could from a host or interviewer. Their shared history on Outlander played a crucial role in why the moment hit so hard. Years of working side by side had created a level of understanding that went beyond scripted dialogue. Caitriona knew where the emotional fault lines were, even if she hadn't intended to step on one. And Sam knew, in that instant, that he had been seen more clearly than he was prepared for. As the tears became visible, Sam tried to speak, but his voice caught. He wasn't crying loudly or dramatically. It was a quiet breakdown, the kind that comes when defenses fail rather than explode. The audience could tell this wasn't about the live show anymore. It was about something unresolved, something long held inside. Social media reacted almost immediately. Clips began circulating within minutes, frozen on the exact moment his expression changed. Fans debated what Caitriona had meant, replaying her words again and again. Some called it heartbreaking, others called it intrusive, but nearly everyone agreed on one thing. This was real. What made the moment so unsettling was how little it relied on spectacle. There was no dramatic language to blame, no shocking confession to dissect. Just a single sentence that acknowledged the human cost behind years of strength. In an industry where emotion is usually curated, this slipped through unfiltered. By the time the live segment moved on, the damage, or revelation, had already been done. Sam regained enough composure to continue, but the atmosphere never fully recovered. Viewers knew they had witnessed something that wasn't meant for performance. And once seen, it couldn't be unseen. This was only the beginning of the conversation. Caitriona's words had opened a door that Sam had kept firmly closed for years. What they truly meant, and why they carried such power in that moment, would soon become the focus of intense speculation and emotional debate. After the broadcast ended, the moment didn't dissolve into forgetfulness the way live television usually does. Instead, it lingered, replayed in fragments and slowed clips, dissected for meaning rather than scandal. What unsettled viewers wasn't just that Sam had cried, but that no one rushed to explain it away. The silence that followed felt intentional, as if everyone involved understood that adding words would only cheapen what had happened. For Sam Heughan, the decision not to clarify became its own statement. He didn't frame the tears as exhaustion, didn't laugh them off as nerves, and didn't offer a reassuring follow-up. In an industry that teaches performers to control narratives at all costs, choosing not to control this one suggested the emotion had crossed a line he couldn't easily retreat from. Sometimes, the absence of explanation is the most honest response. Attention quickly turned to Caitriona Balfe and the weight of her words. She didn't apologize publicly, nor did she distance herself from the comment. That restraint mattered. It implied that what she had said wasn't a mistake or a slip, but an acknowledgement she believed was fair. Her silence wasn't defensive, it was steady, as if she trusted the moment to stand on its own. The deeper question became why that particular sentence had such power. It wasn't romantic, accusatory, or dramatic. It was observational, recognizing the emotional labor Sam had carried without asking for recognition. Hearing that out loud, especially from someone who had shared years of intense creative and personal pressure with him, removed the last layer of protection. Being seen can be more overwhelming than being criticized. Their long partnership on Outlander shaped the context in a way casual viewers might overlook. Years of portraying intimacy on screen require trust, discipline, and emotional availability. Over time, colleagues develop an understanding of each other's limits and vulnerabilities, even when they're never discussed. Caitriona's words didn't come from speculation, they came from proximity. That proximity is what made the moment impossible for Sam to deflect. A comment from a host might have prompted a practiced answer. From Caitriona, it carried history. It reminded him, and everyone watching, that strength had been expected of him for a very long time. The tears suggested not fragility, but the release that comes when endurance is finally acknowledged. Fan reactions reflected that complexity. Some viewers worried that Caitriona had crossed a boundary, unintentionally exposing something private. Others felt gratitude, seeing the moment as an act of respect rather than intrusion. The divide revealed more about audience expectations than about the two actors themselves. We often celebrate vulnerability until it appears without warning. Industry response was notably restrained. No co-stars rushed to contextualize the scene, and no insiders leaked explanations. That collective quiet hinted at consensus. The moment was human, not scandalous. In Hollywood, when silence follows vulnerability, it often signals respect. Exploiting it would have felt inappropriate. What followed in the days after was telling. Sam continued his commitments, appearing composed but slightly altered, as if the armor had shifted. Caitriona maintained her usual poise, neither retreating nor amplifying the incident. Life moved forward, yet the memory of the live moment remained lodged in public consciousness, unresolved but meaningful. The incident reframed how people viewed their connection. Not as rumor or romance, but as deep professional intimacy forged under pressure. Two people who had shared responsibility for a cultural phenomenon had also shared the cost of sustaining it. In that light, the tears didn't signify collapse, they signaled recognition.